If you're watching this video, then you're most likely in the property service industry. You're either a buyer's agent, an investment advisor, a property consultant, or even a mortgage broker. And the one thing that you can't really crack is paid media and ads. Whenever you hear Meta, you kind of freak out. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to approach running ads, but you know that you need a consistent client acquisition system, because running ads can be one of the most powerful things for your business if done correctly. And that if part is really important, because running successful ads, which we've done for multiple clients, requires two things. It requires a really good understanding of your offer and strategy, and it requires really strong creatives that actually stand out from the competitors. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to come up with an AI ad system that does the heavy lifting for you, so you don't have to worry about coming up with an ad strategy, writing ad copy, and generating ad creatives. So if that's something that you're interested in, then if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly the steps involved in letting AI do all the work for you. So let's jump into it. This is what we're going to build today. So this is a quick high-level overview of what we're actually going to be building, because in this video, we're actually going to be building something. I'm not just going to be walking through and talking about theory. We're going to build together. So this is a 3-staged AI ad system, and it pretty much generates the entire ad copy, strategy, and creatives for you in 15 to 20 minutes. It has 3 layers. So the first layer is your offer doc. Now, your offer doc is a really important asset that you feed into your entire ad system so that it knows what sort of strategy to come up with, and it knows who to target, it knows what their pain points are, etc. Now, if you haven't yet generated an offer doc, we just filmed a video recently walking through the entire A to Z process of how to generate an irresistible offer. And we gave you the framework of what skill to install in Claude so that you can actually do it from start to finish in about 15 minutes. So if you're interested in that video, I'll leave a link up here. I highly recommend that you check out that video, because that is a really important step that you need to get done before you actually build out this ad system. So what it's going to do is it's going to feed in your offer doc into this first layer, which is your ad copy and strategy layer. Now, this is going to be built in Claude. So this is the brain of your meta strategy and meta campaign. So the brain and strategist of your meta campaign is Claude. And we're going to show you the framework that we use and the skill that we have built for you to actually get all our prompts and pretty much get our entire AI and the training that we've done for our AI. And you can get the same thing in your AI as well. And it's specifically being trained for the property industry. So that's really amazing. And then what the strategist is going to do is the strategist is then going to come up with copy, and it's going to come up with the ad angles and strategy. And then it's going to feed it into the third layer, which is going to be an image generation AI tool like Gemini. And that is going to sit in the third layer. And then the strategist is going to pass in all the information to the image generation prompt, and it's going to come up with relevant creatives that we can use to actually run for your ads. And the great thing about this system is it's a cohesive system. So you feed in your entire offer doc to the strategist as context. The strategist then comes up with that strategy and copy, and the strategist then passes it on to the designer to actually generate ad creatives for you. So that's how you can think about this entire system we're going to build out. Before we actually build it out, I want to show you guys some examples of what is going to be generated, so you can actually decide for yourself if it's worth actually sticking around and learning how to build this for your own business. So you can start generating ads just like this from today, literally in 20 minutes. If you look at this ad, it's an amazing image. It's realistic. It doesn't come across like it's fake AI generated. So we're going to teach you exactly how to do that. And if I was to see any of these ads, it doesn't really scream AI to me. and it doesn't scream cheap quality, that is not premium. So we're going to teach you how to generate ads just like this. So if you take a look at that, it's amazing creative. It's got clear, bold text. It's got, really attractive images. So yeah, it's going to generate stuff just like this for your own business. And you can feed it in your own branding. You can feed it in your own style so it can learn and understand what you like to create as well. Before we get into it, I want to first zoom out a little bit and talk a little bit about systems and why you should consider having an ad system. Because 99% of property experts just rely on random ads. So if you've actually run any ads before, you probably understand what I'm talking about. You've probably sat there and seen a competitor run an ad and then decided, okay, I'm going to run this ad. And then you might have seen another ad and then you decide, okay, I'm going to run this ad. So it's all a mix of random ads. Now, what the bridge is here is it's a system. And a system basically has the layers that we just talked about. So it has a strategist, it has a copywriter, it has a designer. Now, when you have a system like this, you generate predictable, high quality ads, and you have a higher likelihood of actually finding a winner. And that's the goal for everyone running ads. It's to find a winner with as little spend as possible so you can get the maximum ROI or ROAS, which is return on your ad spend. If you don't have a system, it's really hard to get there because you are basically shooting darts in the dark. If you have a system, you can actually understand which parts are working, and you can feed in a feedback loop so your strategist even gets better and better and better, and your image creatives get better and better and better. So that's the power of having an intentional system, which we're going to be building out pretty much in the next 5 minutes, right? So then it just really allows you to scale your ads much easier. So the first part of the system is the offer doc. So as I mentioned, we have a Claude skill that we've created, which I will leave a link in the description for that video. So the first part is actually coming up with your offer doc, and your offer doc has 4 main components. So it has the who, it has the problem, it has the outcome, and it has the proof. And once you combine these 4 elements together, you will come up with a comprehensive offer document that then acts as really valuable context for your AI agents. So I'll leave that video up here again. If you haven't, please go ahead and watch that. Actually generate your own irresistible offer. It's a worthwhile exercise doing because your entire marketing and client acquisition system is going to hinge on having a really strong offer. One thing I want to point out is, it doesn't matter how great your creatives are. At the end of the day, if you don't have a strong offer that differentiates you from the rest of your competitors, then your ads aren't going to perform. So all the steps that we're going to do now is going to be pointless unless you have a really strong offer. So now moving on to the second element which is the copy and the strategy layer, which we talked about, and that's using Claude and Gemini, right? So that basically what it does is it feeds in this framework that is defined for actually creating high converting ad copy. So this is the framework that we use with our exact clients that we have proven to actually convert at a really high rate. So we have fed in the framework into this AI agent so it understands how to structure your ad copy. So it's going to write out your entire ad copy for you. Then what it's going to do is it's going to feed it in to the image generation layer or the designer, and the designer is going to come up with 5 ad creatives, which you can then put into a campaign and start to run your ads from today. So the reason that we recommend 5 creatives is because when you're starting out running ads, you want to keep it relatively simple, right? You don't want to run 10, 20 different ads because then you're playing around with too many moving parts, right? So it becomes really difficult to understand what's working and what's not. So typically what we recommend is for your first campaign, you want to have 5 image ads, specifically image ads, because image ads are super easy to create. There's less friction and you can much easily use AI to create image ads for you, right? So video ads are great, but that's something that is a little bit more advanced. So what I want you to do is focus on image ads, and specifically 5 image ads. And this is going to allow you to run a budget of $50 a day, so $10 per creative. And that's going to be what your first testing campaign is likely going to be. So enough talking, let's actually get to building. I want to show you guys a demonstration of how this is going to work. So in the description below, there are two files. One is a skill file and the other is a folder structure, right? And those two things are what you're going to need to download so it's on your computer. So once you have downloaded those two things, I'm going to walk you through how to set things up. First step is you're going to need Claude Cowork. So Claude Cowork can be downloaded by simply typing in Claude Cowork, and then you want to hit the first link here, and you're going to download either the Windows or the Mac version, depending on what system you run. And now what it's going to do is it's going to download this application that sits on your computer, right? So that's going to allow you to set up this project properly. So it's going to look like this. And what you're going to have is you're going to have this app open. And what you're going to do is once you log in and link your Claude account, so you got to log into your Claude account, then it's going to take you to this, right? It's going to have three things: chat, Cowork, and Claude. Specifically for this, we want to create a project. So you're going to go into Cowork, you're going to go into projects, and then you're going to set up your project, right? So I was playing around with a test project, which I'm going to show you guys today, but you're going to create your own project. Now, after that, the second step is going to be the stuff that you just downloaded. Now that's on your computer. So the zip file, and then also the skill file, the ad generator skill. What we're going to do is we need to install the skill to your Claude. So to do that, you just need to click on Claude up and then go into settings. Now it's going to open up the settings panel, right? Now you're going to scroll to the section where it says capabilities. Then you're going to scroll down and you're going to see a skills section. Now you're going to click on customize, and then you will have all your skills here. So what we need to do is we need to hit the plus icon. Then we need to hit on create skill. Then we need to hit on upload a skill. So this is where you're going to actually drag and drop a .skill file. So you notice how this one of the files there is called .skill, and you're going to now drag and drop that in, and it's going to ask you to install that skill. I'm not going to do it because I have, but that's simply how you're going to install the skill. So that's step one. Step two is you would have created your project. So now you want to find your project within your local computer and your files. So you're going to go into documents, which is most likely where it's going to be. And there's going to be a folder called Claude. If you can't find it, just search for a folder called Claude. That's going to have your projects. So you're going to click into projects, and the one you just created is going to be here. So for me, it's called test project. Then what you're going to do is you're going to drag and drop that folder structure file into here, right? So you're going to drag, drop the folder called Zenflow ads into here, not the skill, but the folder. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to see this env file. So in the env file, we need to give Claude 2 API keys that's going to help it to generate images. Remember we were talking about Gemini, so that's one of the tools that Claude is going to call to generate images. So if it's going to call upon that tool, it will need an API key. So 2 image generation tools are actually used in this Claude skill. So one is Gemini and the other one is Ideogram. So I'll show you guys the two and how to actually get an API key. So firstly for Gemini, you're going to want to go into Google Studio, and what you can do is type in Gemini API key just to make things super simple. Click on that link and it will take you straight to the API keys page. Now you might need to log in, and then once you log in, you're just going to click on create API key, and then you are going to create the key and you're going to get that long string. Okay, so that's number one. And then make sure you save that somewhere. And then you're going to go into Ideogram, which is I've got here. So you're just going to type in Ideogram, and then it's going to open up Ideogram. Now you're going to create an account in Ideogram, and then you're going to sign up, go to your profile, go to API, and then again, you're going to get an API key, which you're then going to save as well. So you're going to go into API keys here, and then you're going to go into create key, and then you're going to basically, I'll have to blur this out, but you're going to create a key just like this. So once you've got those two keys, you're going to go back into your project folder. You're going to double click on this .env file. And what you're going to do is, if you can't see that file, you will have to go into, you'll have to actually show view options, I believe. And then you'll have to allow the file to allow to see all different types of files, which you can do. Yeah, so that's how you would do that. But once you see this .env file, what you're going to do is you're going to double click on it, and you're going to see Gemini API key, and you're going to see ideogram API key. You're going to drop those API keys just like this into here. I'm going to have to blur this part out, but you're going to drop these keys into here, and then you're going to hit save. It should automatically save. Then you're going to cross out. So now you've completed the entire setup steps. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll try my best to help you out there. Then you're going to go back into that project, and what you're going to do now is you're going to say slash, and you're going to say Zenflow ad generator, and you're going to drop your offer doc into this chat here. Okay, so let's say you get your offer doc, you're going to drop it into here, and then it will have this offer doc here. So now you're going to hit this skill, you're going to call this skill, you're going to give it the offer doc, and you're going to hit run. Then what it's going to do is I'll jump in and I'll show you an example here, right? Is once you do that, what's going to happen is it's going to generate 3 versions of ad copy. So now your strategist is going to look at the offer doc. It's going to look at the framework that we've given it, and it's going to generate 3 versions of ad copy. Really important step here is you're going to want to pick one version. So it's going to ask you, here are 3 variants, right? It's going to say, pick A, B, or C, right? And if you want to make any tweaks, you can. But the important step is to just pick one copy, and you have to have the same copy for all your creatives. That way you're isolating the creative, which is what Meta really values in today's day and age, is it's creative led. So you want to make sure you're testing just the creatives, because this ad copy works. It's proven to work. So you don't need to have multiple variations of ad copy. Just pick one, and then you're going to say, okay, I prefer, for example, A. And then what it's going to do is it's going to say, hey, you need the API keys, but you would have already pasted in the API keys. So you're going to say, I have pasted it inside the folder called whatever it's called, right? Then it's going to find the keys. Then it's going to actually generate the creatives for you. And then it's going to drop it in this folder called output. So you can go back to your projects folder, and I'll show you for a second what it looks like. So inside of here, there's an output folder. And now you can see the creatives that it's just generated. So you can go in, and it's literally PNGs that are ready for you to upload straight into Meta as creatives, which you can see here. And if you don't like anything, then you can always get it to tweak things, right? For example, I said, for one of the images, I don't like the last image in Creative 4, replace it with XYZ. So one thing to realize, guys, is AI doesn't get everything right on the first go. So you need to actually give it proper feedback. So then the model actually understands what you need and adapts. So then it did some stuff and generated a new creative, and I was happy with that. So that's essentially what the process looks like. And the amazing thing about this, guys, is you have now generated creatives and copy, and you're ready to run your ads. And all it took was you giving AI an offer doc. And that's just amazing, right? So now you've built the ads, now you need to test them. So what you need to do is you need to set up a campaign in Meta. You need to set up your ads inside one ad set, and then you need to run those ads for a period of 7 to 14 days. And then you need to pick the winners, and you need to scale the winners, which is a whole nother process, right? So the testing framework is what we'll cover in the next episode, which is what to actually kill, which ads to keep running, and how to come up with fresh creatives, and how to iterate on the creatives that are actually working. So we're going to cover all that, because that's something that's quite complicated, and it tends to trip up a lot of people, is how to actually scale those ads, then take your winners and come up with even better creatives. So that's what we're going to be covering in the next video. And the other thing I will say is, if you like what you saw here, we actually build client acquisition systems for our property clients, like buyers agents, investment advisors, property consultants. So if you want the entire system built for you, so you don't have to do any of this, and we manage the entire thing for you, and you pretty much get anywhere from 2 to 3 clients every single month that are coming through this client acquisition system, you can add an extra 30 to 50K per month to your business. If you're interested in that, book a strategy call below. We would love to chat with you further, and we would love to see how we can help out. Other than that, please drop a like and subscribe, and I will be back for the next episode where we're going to cover how to actually scale your ads, how to pick the winners, and how to take it to the next level.